Hi everybody, welcome to a new video. I just got back from 2 glorious nights in Porto. I was visiting a bunch of friends to celebrate a 40th birthday, and my birthday is actually today, so I snuck in on the birthday action as well. I just got back about 5 minutes ago, and the first thing I'm going to go do is check on the state of my garden. Because I was only gone for a few days, I didn't bother having anyone come to water my garden, and it was really hot. The sunflowers in front of my house don't look too miserable, so I'm not quite as concerned as maybe I would have been otherwise. They look quite perky, actually. So let's see if the rest of the garden is holding up okay. On first glance, things seem fine. There's a nightmare weedy area to contend with. This strawberry plant doesn't look so good. And, wow. The soil under there, it's not wet, but it's definitely not bone dry either, so the mulch is doing its job, and I gotta say, I'm surprised. Often the kale is one of the first things that gets super saggy when it doesn't have any water. This chili plant has exploded without any water for 2 days. Yeah, everything looks really surprisingly good. I knew I should have picked some lettuces before I left. I guess they're bolting now. But got some cucumbers appearing over here. This is the first time this plant has given me any cucumbers. This one's called Eureka. There's also been a sunflower opening explosion. I can't reach those ones to film them because they're like 2 meters tall, which is quite insane. But this guy, I don't know if you can see it because of the light, he's looking pretty happy. That's definitely new. I've got a red tomato. This is my first red tomato. That's exciting. This tomato plant has fallen over. And then there's this sunflower. Look at this guy. What's up, dude? So the garden actually does look surprisingly happy. Let's go check out Manny the mango and see what he's up to, because these trees definitely like a lot of water. So I don't know if that's the color that's supposed to be, but I'm going to give him a massive soak and give the rest of the garden a massive soak too. And then this week, I'm going to be spending it in the garden. I'm going to chainsaw these guys to make a barrier. I'm going to do some weeding, and I've got a whole lot of strimming on my land to do. So I've got a lot of garden work in my future, and this video is going to be all about the garden, all about the land, all about trying not to trip over the garden beds. And I've got, yeah, a lot of work ahead of me. So I don't know how far I'm going to get, but for now, I'm going to water the garden, and I'll be up really early tomorrow getting started in here and seeing what's up. One thing that's up is my plums seem really ripe, so I'm going to have a crack at some kind of a plum sauce, I think. And I have cucumbers galore, so I've got to get pickling again. Loads of basil. I can probably start making pesto. So this is the time of year where the garden starts keeping me busy, and I have so many other things on my plate, so it's going to be a really busy few months. So I'm happy I had that little break in Porto. So I'm going to water my garden, have an early night, and I'll see you again bright and early tomorrow for probably some weed annihilation and maybe even some chainsawing. We'll see. Damn. That is crazy. It's a whole lot of pickle right there. Good morning. It's early. Coffee has not yet been consumed. I'm very sleepy, but I have a whole bunch of cucumbers down in the garden that I need to pick. So I'm going to do that now before it gets too hot. I've got some gloves because some of the cucumbers are spiky. Got my bowl. So let's go see what's down there. My cucumbers are definitely out of control. This one is a lot larger than it should be. I really want to pick them when they're about half this size. And I've got gloves on because this variety is called Restring. It's got tiny little painful spiky bits. If you kind of rub them off sideways, it's okay, and you can pick them with your hands. But if you sort of go in and grab them from the side, they will mess you up. So I've got the gloves. The other cucumbers are a lot more friendly. I have 3 varieties of cucumbers. So this one is a bush pickle, and then I've got one called Eureka. My Eureka cucumbers didn't really germinate, and they don't really seem to be doing so well. These ones are doing great, but I don't like the spikes. These ones are my pickling cucumber of choice. The skin's a little thicker, which means they retain their crunch a bit better. And these ones are nice because they do have a thinner skin, so if you're going to cut them into spears or something, that could be a bit of a better choice. But these ones are fine as well. So I'll probably skip the different varieties next year and only plant bush pickle. But my intention for planting a bunch of different ones was to see which ones I liked the best. Last year, of course, I lost track of what was what, and so I had these different cucumbers and had no idea which one was the bush pickle, which one was the Restina. So this year, I was a bit more on top of things, and now I know that I don't like this one, I really like this one. So I've got lots to pick. Let's get to it. Finding them is often the tricky part. They're hard to spot when they're small, and you only really notice them when they're enormous. But there's not as many on there as I thought there were, so let's go check the other parts. So this one is the Eureka. It also has some pretty vicious looking little spikes, which you can rub off sideways. And it's more of a short and stubby variety, so maybe if you were to pick these ones quite early, they'd be a good variety to pickle whole. The other ones seem to get away from me too quickly and get big really fast. I should also put these up on a trellis. I just haven't got around to it yet. Into the jungle. Oh wow, okay. These ones are also bush pickles, and they have gone bonkers. So that's actually a good size for pickling whole as well. I don't have enough of them of that size to do it. Oh, these are the Eurekas. Yeah, so maybe I'll grow Eurekas next year and experiment with doing whole pickles. So we've got the bush pickle. Gets very big very quickly, but is a nice pickle. I mean, a nice cucumber. We've got the Restina. Also gets very big very quickly, but comes armed with painful spiky things. And then we have the Eureka, which, if monitored closely, will be a nice size for pickling whole. So I'm not into the Restina pickle, but I really like these too. I just have to be a bit better about picking on time. Not as many as I thought, but still a pretty good haul. Hello, little dude. What are you doing under there? Do you want to come down to the garden with me? I'm going to tie up some tomatoes. It's very exciting. Are you going to hang out in here? Come on. Come join me. Come join me. All right, so I have a whole bunch of saggy, sad-looking tomatoes that I'm just going to tie up with some twine. So let's go do that. Are you coming? Come on. Come on. Come on. Okay, never mind. I'll see you later. My tomatoes have gone insane while I've been away. They're looking so healthy and very happy. As usual, I have way more plants than one person could ever use, but I've got to give them some attention. One of my favorite jobs with tomatoes is snapping off these little, I call them the armpits, but it's not really the armpits. Just the extra shoots that are going to grow whole new branches. I prefer to keep the tomatoes growing straight up, so I really enjoy hunting those out and snapping them off. I think you're supposed to maybe snip them off with a tool, but I usually just take them off with my hand. Oh, you're going in there, are you? Well, that's going to be weeded very soon. What's in there? Is that a good spot? Well, at least it's shady. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to get back to work on the tomatoes. So I definitely have an absolutely insane number of tomatoes on the way. If anyone out there has some really good recipes for pasta sauce, tomato soup, or tomato chutney, I would love to hear them. I'm planning on canning it and preserving it so I have some sauces ready to go in the winter months. And in the summer months, I'll just make them fresh as the tomatoes become ripe, because I am going to be overloaded with tomatoes. But luckily, I love tomatoes, so that works for me. So this tomato and that guy over there do not look happy. They are definitely in need of staking. This is definitely not a happy tomato plant. It has a hunchback, but I'll try to straighten it out. Come on. Okay, hopefully he's a little happier. So believe it or not, oh, there's the frogs. Happy to hear them again. Believe it or not, I still have about 8 more tomato plants to do. Like I said, I will be overrun with the things. So I'm going to get on with that, finish them up, and then move on to the next task. As with everything, this has taken longer than expected. Not only did I tie the tomatoes up, I also snipped off some leaves at the bottom where they were touching the ground. And I did kind of a quick weed around the bases of the tomato plants as well. So I'm really happy with what I've done. And though I said I was going to push on with the garden tasks, I actually think I'm going to do some video stuff inside in front of the fan instead. I have a friend visiting later on today as well, so I want to tidy my place up a little bit. So it gives me a good excuse to go hide inside and still actually do some stuff. What do you think? Time to relax for the rest of the day? I think you have the right idea, buddy. And tomorrow, all this has got to go. Sorry, I'm going to be taking a shady spot.
Hi! Cheers.
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 Wow.
The salad shots.
Yum.
It sounds dirty when I say it like that. I forgot to film the pasta. Mmm. Yum.
It was delicious.
Another cheers.
Yay.
Yay.
Bye.
Good morning. It's a beautiful day. Birds are chirping. The sun is shining, which means it's going to be very hot later on. I'm up early-ish. I had a hard time falling asleep last night because it's pretty hot. But the mornings with the fan on are so beautiful, it's just easy to want to sleep in. So I didn't get up until the late hour of 7:15. I haven't had my coffee yet. I'm going to go drink that. And then I'm going to strap on all the strimming gear and try to blitz the 2 bottom terraces. It really is a gorgeous morning. I should definitely be getting up earlier than I have been to take advantage of these lovely morning hours, but it really is hard to get out of bed in the morning. So first things first, I have to restring this thing, which will involve me looking up on YouTube how to restring this thing. If you don't put the string on properly, the bump feature doesn't work, and it's very, very annoying. Oops. A friend of mine gave me the advice, and I also think someone in my comments also gave me the advice to soak the strimmer string in water, and it'll make it softer, easier to string up, and less likely to break. So I had a lot of problem with breaking the string because I'm not the best strimmer in the world. I'm learning, so I'll be curious to see if this makes a difference. Ah! Get back in there. So the video I found told me to wind it in this direction. There was a video that I found a while ago that specified the length of the string I should have cut, but I can't find that one, so I was using a sort of crappy video, and I just guessed, but this seems like it could be about right. Okay, the strimmer is strung. I've got my steel-toed boots on. I've got a bag full of batteries. 4 batteries in here fully charged. 2 in the strimmer. 2 more batteries on charge. I've got a bottle of water. I'm just gonna spend all of the time I can down there until the batteries run out, basically, or until my water runs out, or until I get tired. But hopefully I can last for a couple of hours. So I'm ready to go. Let's strim. I don't think I've ever put this thing on gracefully in my life. Oop, it's all twisted around. All right, now let's trim. So I think I'm getting better at strimming, or maybe it's because the grass isn't quite as fierce, but I haven't lost the string yet, which means I haven't hit any stones or sticks or anything too severe. I've been careful. I am curious to see whether the bump thing works. So the string is actually a little bit shorter than it should be. So I'm gonna give it a bump and see if I string this thing up properly. Yeah, okay, it works. That's definitely longer than it was before. So I'm very pleased with this. Let's keep going. So the long grass can get tangled around the strimmer, but this guy has a reverso function, so I just hit the reverse, and then in theory, it should fly off. Yeah, so it's back to normal. I'm gonna give it another bump, and I'm gonna carry on strimming. So you get the idea. I'm doing a lot of strimming. I have lots of grass to cut. Let me show you a little before of this terrace, and I'll check back in again when it's all done. I'm gonna call it quits on the strimming, not because I'm out of battery power. I still have a bit of charge left in the 5th and 6th batteries, so I've had 3 battery changes. Not because I'm finished, I'm almost finished, but because, not because I'm tired, but because I've run out of string. I have encountered lots of sticks, lots of rocks, and I tend to bash into them. Plus I often bash into the dirt as I'm trying to get a close shave for the grass. So the string goes pretty quickly, But I did put it in properly and the bump was working correctly, which saves loads and loads of frustration. So it's an easy thing to just bump it and get it out again. So perhaps I was over bumping, I don't know, but the string is gone and I'm gonna use that as a breaking point to stop strimming for the day. I've been at it for probably just under an hour and a half, I'd guess, and it's probably approaching, well, probably approaching 10 o'clock or so, but I haven't had breakfast yet, so I'll have breakfast, and depending on what time it is when I finish, maybe I'll push on, but who knows. Anyway, I'm happy with what I've accomplished, so let me show you, and yeah, it's a massive difference. It's nice to be able to actually walk on my property without having to dodge all kinds of grassy bits. So I'm trying to get a close cut with the grass, which means a lot of bashing into the dirt. So I don't know if I'm doing this properly, but I'm doing my best. Lots of sticks hidden in there, they tangle the cord. And plants like this guy that are quite, quite spiky and woody, they also shred the cord to pieces, plus lots of little hidden rocks over there and things like that. So I've done my best. I've moved the pipes and I've cut all around up there. This is a nightmare of sticks and things, so I'll have to pull those out. I pulled a few out, and then I got to about here. So I would have liked to have trimmed kind of a better walking path here, but I'll probably tackle this again tomorrow or the next day. Finish up the garden, pull the weeds, and then go down to the bottom terrace. So I'm very happy with my morning of strimming. Time for breakfast. I've had a very late breakfast. It's about noon now, and I'm ready to get back down there in the garden. Though I've had lots of success so far with the cucumbers and tomatoes and with the strimming and some other things, I won't be happy unless I annihilate that collection of really long weeds. It's a beautiful day today. It's not oppressively hot, and I'm convinced I can plow through these weeds and get this done today. So I'm gonna get started and see how far I can get. My plan is to pull these things out by the roots, and then I'm gonna try to cover this area with cardboard, maybe some geotextile fabric stuff, because this has gotten way out of control and I don't want to have to do this again. This could be handy. So when I said that the weather was not so hot, I probably was saying that because I had just come from inside my house sitting in front of a fan. I was woefully wrong on that, and I'm not really appropriately dressed. So I'm gonna go drink some water, take a little break, and get out of jogging pants and a t-shirt into something a little lighter, because it is actually, upon further inspection, very brutal out here. But I feel like I'm making progress, and despite the heat, I am kind of enjoying it, so I'll be back very soon. So I've changed into some appropriate attire and some inappropriate footwear, I feel a lot cooler and a lot calmer and a lot better. But I have decided that even though I'm wearing more appropriate clothing, it is still incredibly, horribly hot out here, and I don't really want to weed. Plus, this video is already long enough as it is, and I'm going to finish this all off in a second parter. So I'm going to say goodbye from this video. Thanks for watching. Any questions or comments, leave me a message below. I love hearing from people, and I'll see you guys in the next video.